Cloudcast Media. Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. We are so pleased to have on with us Erin Kennedy. She is the CEO and founder of Girls Rugby, Inc. How you doing, Erin?
I'm doing great today. How are you, Drew?
I'm doing just fine, joined by my co-host, Kristen Fogel. She is the executive director of San Diego Riders, Inc. They just finished celebrating their 20th anniversary. How you doing, Kristen?
Doing well, thanks.
Now, Kristen, you told me you were a rugby player. Is that correct?
So what I like about this, that I want to get into it with Erin, obviously, is I'm a Southern Californian, so I didn't grow up with rugby and everything. But all those like East Coast friends of mine, you know, they all grew up with rugby and everything. So I love the San Diego and rugby connection. So why don't you just start us off and tell us your mission, the mission of your organization, Erin?
Yeah, absolutely. So the mission of Girls Rugby is to empower girls to reach their potential using sport. And we happen to use flag rugby, so the non-contact version of rugby, and we pair that with a leadership and values-based curriculum for girls under the age of 14 to hopefully give that fun experience for them, and then hopefully they can learn a little something and help to change their lives.
That's great. I want to know all the things, but I want to know how you stepped into this space. I mean, were you a rugby player? Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I actually was not a traditional rugby player.
Okay.
Even though I did grow up on the East Coast, and I found rugby later in life. I came out to Denver to get my master's degree, and my first job out of grad school ended up being at USA Rugby. And even though I had no rugby experience on my resume, they welcomed me with open arms, and I quickly jumped into the sport. So I've actually been working in rugby development for the last 16 years, and through the work that I've done, working a lot at the grassroots level, I was seeing that girls were not coming into the sport as much as boys were, especially because it is traditionally male dominated. And the idea for Girls Rugby really sparked around where can we make changes to the current landscape of the sport, and specifically how do we open that up to make a really safe space for girls to come into it and learn all the wonderful things that the sport can teach you, which is what spawned the idea of Girls Rugby to create a girls-only space that was really focused on that holistic development, and then also bringing that safe version of the game with the flag version.
Yeah. This may be getting into like the values-based curriculum. Maybe not, they dovetail, but what can girls learn from rugby and through the curriculum that you're providing?
Yeah, absolutely. We chose rugby because it has a very unique culture to the sport. I grew up playing lots of other traditional American sports and basketball and softball, and I certainly learned a lot through those sports that has transferred into my adult life and in workspaces and things like that. But I think with rugby and sports in general, the life skills that you can learn through a team sport. So working on teams, working with individuals, finding that sort of inner strength and that resilience and that confidence of, hey, this is what my body can do for me, and let's just be part of that just inclusive environment, and have that space to learn whatever they'd like. So I think rugby provides that on its own, and then I think with as you mentioned, the values-based curriculum that we run, we're being very intentional on the skills that these girls are learning, because there's a lot of research out there on the lack of opportunity that girls have, the challenges that they're facing on things like leadership and confidence and body image issues and mental health. And so what we're trying to do is really infuse that sports active movement with those intentional values and life skills that they can transfer then to school and life outside of the rugby field.
So it's from girls ages 6 to 14, correct?
Yes. Yeah. We do grades 2 through 8 and allow first graders if the families feel that they're ready.
Right. So the organization's in its sixth year, something to that effect, correct?
Yeah, we're finishing up our sixth year,
Right.
And we are a national program, so we're not just in San Diego,
Right.
but we're in 6 different states around the country with about 10 programs.
Right. So is San Diego the only one in California, or are there other ones in California?
Nope, currently that's our only one in California right now. So we're in the greater San Diego County area.
Right. And any reason why San Diego and
It's
not
amazing.
others?
Sorry.
Kristen has Tourette's syndrome, so this will be going on
pretty
throughout
much,
the rest.
Yeah.
Well, besides your beautiful sunny weather and the fact that it's amazing.
Yes.
So actually, when we founded the organization, I founded it with two other individuals, and where we were based at the time is I was based in Colorado, and one of our co-founders was based in San Diego, and the
Nice.
other in Portland. So our first 3 pilot programs, we actually started in the 3 cities that we lived.
Nice.
And then we've just been continuing it from there. So we do have dreams of expanding beyond San Diego County the coming year.
Right. How do you reach the girls 6 through 14? Are you working with the schools? Are you working with the YMCAs, Boys and Girls Clubs? How do you get a hold of them?
All of the above. So we do a lot of traditional marketing of trying to reach the masses. We're not officially linked to a school or a community organization, but we do partner with them, and we have really great partnerships with organizations around San Diego, schools, organizations like YMCAs and Boys and Girls Clubs, right. Parks and Recs programs, Girl Scouts, all of those different groups. And then we're also looking on that traditional marketing side of where are parents and families gathering for information. So you'll see us at various events,
right?
Like youth events, family events, things like that. We'll have a table and information and doing different clinics in different communities and things like that. So we're trying to reach the masses in as many ways as we can.
Yeah, we're chatting with Erin Kennedy. She's the CEO and founder of Girls Rugby, Inc. I'm Drew Schlosberg. Listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest running community podcast, now in our 18th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union for 6 decades. Just doing great things for people living in San Diego County, whether it's food insecurity, literacy, the arts, or everything in between. Joined by my co-host, Kristen Fogel, Executive Director of San Diego Writers, Inc., celebrating their 20th anniversary. So, Erin, is there somebody on the ground here in San Diego that works with you?
Yes, actually, we have, so each one of our programs, we have a program manager
Yeah.
who oversees all of the operations locally. So we have a program manager who's based there. We also have from the national level, we have our operations manager who also is based in San Diego. And then we have our volunteer coaches who run all the programming, which is a group of about 10 to 15 individuals each season. So we've got a nice little group there in San Diego on the ground.
Right. So then do you rent fields such as Robb Field, or where do you do the flag rugby, so to speak?
Yeah, we use community spaces. So we work through the Parks and Rec, and we rent our fields for all the different locations that we have.
Right. Exactly. So is flag rugby sort of similar to flag football then, I guess, correct?
It is, except there's one really main difference, which makes it super fun and free flowing, which is in American football or in flag football, when you pull the flag
right.
of the person who has the ball, everything stops and then everybody resets and you set up for another play.
Right.
And in flag rugby, if I pull your flag, you pass the ball to a teammate, I give your flag back, the game continues. So it's a lot more free flowing, a lot more fast paced, and allows for a lot more players to carry the ball and score tries and have a really good time doing it.
So, because I've seen a bunch of rugby matches, and I've seen the sevens and all that business, and I still don't understand it. For God's sake, I'm a slow learner, Erin, on this. So, are there scrums in girls' flag rugby?
So we do not have scrums in our programming. So we do introduce it for the advanced ages at what we call them as uncontested scrums. And all that really means is the team that puts the ball in is allowed to win it. There's no pushing. They're really just sort of structural, just setting up for that. So we remove a lot of those,
right.
I will say, complicated and confusing elements of the game of rugby. We take those out to allow for, again, that just free-flowing movement and a lot of fast-paced activity.
Right. I'm sorry, go ahead,
No,
Kristen.
I was just going to say, I feel like a scrum is a bad word. I have no idea what you're talking about, but it's fine. It's fine.
Google
It's just like, that's
Scrum
not nice.
and watch it, and it's fascinating because all of a sudden the guys or the gals who played the physical rugby are all in a circle, and all of a sudden the rugby. Is it called the rugby ball? What do you call it?
It is a rugby ball.
Right.
And if you don't mind, Drew, I'm happy to jump in here and describe what a scrum is.
Thank you so much.
So it's essentially the restart of play.
Yeah.
So after there's a small infringement in the rules, such as like you can't drop the ball or fumble it forward. So we call that a knock-on. And if you fumble the ball forward, then the other team gets a chance to restart with the ball. They use something called a scrum. So it's actually in the traditional form of the game, it's 8 people binding together on their shoulders and arms.
Yep.
And in sevens, the Olympic version, it's just 3-on-3. And then they essentially create a tunnel in between them and just come together in their shoulders and push back and forth and try to win. It's a little contest over the ball to restart the play.
It's quite fascinating. And when you Google this and you see it, you're going to go, "What was that?" It's a great sport to say the least. And I think that's great with the flag rugby with the girls. Is there a place that they go? So you guys have been doing this for 6 years, right? So when you get to your 10th year or 20th year, whatever the case may be, once the girls first of all, do you think of expanding it to girls 15, 16, and 17? That's one. And two, if you don't, where do they go if they want to continue the sport?
Yeah, so we definitely are looking at what does expansion and growth look like for us. I think there's absolutely a space to continue the flag version at high schools. There's typically not a non-contact version for high school level players. So I could see us absolutely expanding to that and offering that outside of the non-contact version. So each state has a rugby organization that manages basically your state championships and your competition within the state. California is split north and south. So there's Southern California Youth Rugby. And they run they run youth leagues that are co-ed in non-contact and contact. And then at the high school level, they'll switch to gender specific. So it'll be girls high school rugby teams. So once they graduate out of our programming, then they would go into high school into a contact program. Or if they want something a little more competitive or they want to do contact before high school, they could always transition into a Southern California Youth Rugby program.
That's great. We're chatting with. Did you want to say something?
I mean, I have questions, but it's fine. You do your spiel and then I'll ask my questions.
Okay, very, very Tourette's, remember?
Oh,
it's a new thing with her. So anyway, but let's get back up from, when she comes back from break, ask that question.
Sounds
We're
good.
chatting with Erin Kennedy, CEO and founder of Girls Rugby, Inc. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union and with my co-host, Kristen Fogel of San Diego Writers, Inc. We will be right back.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. I'm listening to our edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, nation's longest running community podcast. In our 18th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, 6 decades of doing great things for people in San Diego County, joined by my very cool co-host, Kristen Fogel, Executive Director of San Diego Writers, Inc., chatting with Erin Kennedy. Erin is the CEO and founder of Girls Rugby, Inc. Kristen.
Well, whereas Drew wants to make more work for you pretty soon, he'll be like, 15 to 18-year-olds. Why don't you add 20-year-old? Why don't you do men's soccer? Why don't you do this? I want to know about your current programming. So
that's my goal.
Yeah, that is your goal, to make more work for
Other
everybody at the table. It does it to me all the time, Erin. But
you cut that check, I'm willing to do anything.
Nice. Yeah, I feel the same way.
Beautiful.
Yeah. But so, let's say, I have a little boy, I am a parent, but, let's say that I have a girl that comes to the program. What does it look like? Is it week long? Is it like 6 weeks, 8 weeks? Like, take me into what that kind of looks like. What am I signing my kid up for?
Yeah, absolutely. So we run our primary season is a 7-week season, and we do a fall and a spring season. So we're currently in our fall season in San Diego. And so it runs for 7 weeks. We do 2 practices a week for about an hour, 15 minutes. And then we do game days on the weekends. Okay. So we have 6 different locations across San Diego County. So you would sign up for the location that's closest to you for your practices during the week. And then on the weekends, we actually bring all 6 of those locations to a central location where we split up into different fields. We actually do things a little bit differently than traditional U.S. sports, in that we split up. It's not going to be Rancho San Diego versus Chula Vista. Instead, it's, hey, everyone who's in grades 2 and 3, you're on field 1, and they get to play with and against girls from all over the county. So it's we're very much focused on the recreational side of things, improving skills, having a good time, instead of the score line at the end of the day. We actually don't keep score in our game.
Okay.
So it's during practices as well. We go through the basics of, if it's okay if you have 0 experience playing rugby. Our coaches are trained to balance that, those that are experienced and those that have never played the sport before. And then each week with our values-based curriculum, we introduce a new skill, a new value or a life skill, in addition to the rugby skills and games and activities, so that they're getting again that holistic experience of learning not just rugby but some other stuff as well.
Very cool. And talk to us about your coaches, or who are leading this. Do they all typically have rugby experience, or is it just like, parents that have interest and, hey, we'll teach you how it is? Speak to that if you would.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good mix. I'd say majority do have rugby experience. That's the number one, I'd say, person who's interested in giving back. We get a lot of players who are thinking about retiring, or they have retired, and they're thinking about giving back and getting involved in coaching. So we have about 60% of our coaches come from a rugby background and have played in the past. The other 40% is mostly parents. So we do ask when they sign up and register if they're interested in coaching. And we get a lot of parents who certainly are interested, even if they've never played before. And then we have another small percent, I'd say maybe like 1% of our coaches are through just very volunteer networks. So we do post on volunteer organizations just to put it out if people are interested. And we get a lot of people who are looking for, hey, I want to give back. I want to get involved in girls empowerment or something active. And our curriculum is written for the non-rugby person. So that's what allows parents and other people without rugby experience to pick up the curriculum, be able to read it, and be able to introduce it and coach it during the season. And we also provide training. So we do background check, concussion, safe sport, and our own training on our curriculum, and provide all of the lesson plans and resources that our coaches need so that they're successful.
So what type of curriculum do you guys focus on?
So we focus, so it's the introduction of the rugby skills.
Right.
So it's all the basics there. And then the words of the week, we use various activities. So they actually do, we have a playbook that each player receives and they work on with the coaches at practice for the word of the week. So it's going to be different activities, whether they do them physical activities or within their playbook and writing things down, that helps them explore those different words of the weeks and the concepts that we're introducing as the life skills.
Right. So if any girl wants to participate, in certain sports, if you're not good enough to do it, sometimes you don't make the team, right? But will you take every single kid that wants to do it?
Absolutely. Yeah. We don't, we have some locations that have lots of girls and lots coming in.
Right.
We're completely open to any
Great.
girl who thinks this is the right space for them.
That's great.
We don't eliminate or anything like that.
Yeah, no, I think that's terrific. That's one of the cool things about it is the fact that you want to do it, you have the heart to do it, you have the desire to do it, you're going to do it. I think that's great. Talk about fundraising. What turns lights on? We all know that, and sustains it. And then you can be in more states and all that. Do you have corporate sponsors, or is it individuals? Is it a little bit of both?
Yeah, it's a little bit of everything. I mean, as a nonprofit, it's a hustle every day to make sure that we raise the right funds to put into the resources we need. Our programming, so it is a pay-to-play program. So we do offer scholarships and financial assistance for families in need. But we do receive, our programming does fund a lot of our operations. And then outside of that, we typically are funded by grants. Donations is more on the individual side versus any larger donors. We do have some sponsorships that are local. So we have Falcon West Insurance and the Super Dentists in San Diego are our current season sponsors who sponsor for a bit of exposure within the program. But we don't have any like national sponsors or bigger corporate sponsors at the moment. Our doors are always open. We'd love to have conversations with other groups that align with our values and want to get involved. No,
I think that's terrific. And as you grow, obviously, we know how nonprofits work. It's 24/7, 365, and in the 366 and those leap years and all that business. And I think that's great. So what can our listeners do to help support your efforts? Obviously, make donations is important. What else can they do?
Yeah, if you're interested in donations or even corporate sponsorship or anything like that, girlsrugbyinc.com/donate is where you find us, and you can find everything on our website. But I think there's lots of different ways to get involved in our organization. If you have a daughter, we'd love to have her and have her join up for our spring season, which will start in April next year. We'll have some off-season clinics and opportunities as well. If you don't have a daughter or you just want to give back and get involved, we're always open to volunteers. We love people in the community to get involved in our programming. So again, all the information is on our website at girlsrugbyinc.com, and you can find different ways to get involved. You don't have to coach. We can find other ways to get you involved as well. But yeah, really just, I'd say donations and funding is always a great one, but then also getting involved as volunteers or of course, just signing your daughter up.
No, that sounds great. Erin, would love to do, whenever you're back in San Diego, if you are in San Diego, or bring your program manager from San Diego, we'd love to have, her, she, or he, or whomever on. You, of course, if you're here. And how about a kid who played in the flag rugby and the parent, so they can talk about what it's done for them as a family and with the individual. How does that sound?
Yeah, absolutely. I think my operations manager and my program manager would be great. And we have countless stories of just how much this program has done for families and for girls, just raising their confidence and giving them the skills to navigate life, which is exactly what we're aiming to do. So we have tons of those.
Consider that a done deal. You and I can offline could shoot emails back and forth. We'll send you some available dates after the first of the year, and we'd love to have them on to chat about their experiences.
That sounds perfect. We're in.
Good. Erin Kennedy, CEO and founder of Girls Rugby, Inc. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Drew. Thanks, Kristen.
Sure.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure. I'm Drew Schlosberg, and you've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest-running community podcast in our 18th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. 6 decades of doing great things in San Diego County. Thank you so much, Kristen Fogel. As always, a wonderful co-host, and we hope you enjoyed the interview.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.